Good morning, Zachariah Jackson, BASA News. Down here in Newark, New Jersey, and the edge of the Central Ward. I'm with Alif Muhammad. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct.
All right. Ali.
Let me tell you who I am.
Go ahead.
I'm a native of Newark, born, raised, educated here. Live here now. I'm a senior citizen.
You don't look like a senior citizen.
Well, I want to thank you.
Look like the boss.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you. In my 70th birthday party, you surprised me by coming up and videoing, and you captured the evening for everything. Because I was so busy having a party.
Yes, sir.
But I want to thank you for doing
yes,
it.
sir. You know.
I'll be 72 years old in a couple of months. No, next month I'll be 72.
Wow.
And then I am the president of Alif Muhammad School, a private school that's in Newark, that's going to a 31st year.
Wow.
We had enrollment over the last 3 years of 5,000 students. We sent 2,000 off to college.
Wow.
We send over 150 student athletes off to Division I school. And I got about 50 or 60 cops, police officers. I got about 30 firemen.
Wow.
And I got some lawyers and some doctors. And for 5 years, I sat on the board of the Newark Housing Authority as the vice chair. That's who I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ali, yes. And I'm sure you're concerned about the Central Ward. I'm sure all the wards, but
Yes.
the Central Ward, where we
Well, I
are.
live in the Central Ward.
You live
I live in the senior citizen Central Ward, plus my office is on Academy Street. So I'm laid in the Central, and I'm a native of the Central Ward.
Okay.
When I was born on Waverly Avenue on Liver Street, which is called Muhammad Ali Avenue.
That's right. That's
So
right.
my mother owned a restaurant there in 1953, and she thought I was an usher.
Wow.
She
Wow.
bought a restaurant and found out she was pregnant by me.
Wow.
So I am a true Central Ward,
You-
all the way back to Irvin Turner, who my mother couldn't stand.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, my grandmother owned a laundromat, Miss Marshall, on Prince Street,
I remember we knew that. I know that government. Yeah, I know that laundromat.
195.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I know that.
And her son, Noah Marshall, ran against Irvin Turner.
What's that again?
Noah
I
Marshall.
don't remember that. I don't remember.
Noah
that.
Marshall.
She ran against every time.
He ran against her.
I remember George Richardson running against.
Yeah.
I remember that.
He ran against her. Yeah. So now, where we at today, with all this, the political thing is all over the place. You know, it's up and down. But Newark, I see this vacant.
Yes, what happened was the former councilwoman, who I supported,
Yes.
really supported, McIver. I supported her.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
She was known around the streets of Newark was Alif's councilwoman.
Yes.
It's like a little sister to me.
Yes.
Well, what happened, she decided when Donald Payne Jr. passed away, may God, forgive him, have mercy on him, and grant him paradise. He was a good man, I mean. When he passed away, it was the opening, so she ran in a special election.
Yes.
And when she won the special election, overwhelmingly,
Yes,
like
she
70%.
Yes.
And she had to relinquish her job. But what happened was, in August, 2 months before the election, I went up to the council and I spoke to her at the council meeting, and I begged her. I said, my understanding is that if you don't resign in August, and the election is in November, we have to wait a year and a half to next November. So if you don't resign now, we're not going to have a Central Ward representative for all 24 and 11 months out of the 11 months. So I begged her and she turned me down. And what happened was, 2 days before the election, because she was telling people, about 5 pastors called I wrote to. When they heard my call, they called her personally and said, you should resign. And she said that she was afraid that she was going to lose. So she didn't want to jump out there. But 2 days before the election, she resigned and ordered to make Larry Crump, who was Mildred Crump's son, the president of the council. And it was so much skullduggery in it.
Yes.
The four Latinos council people didn't even know what was going on. When they went to go sit down, they said, "Oh, we had a special meeting." And when it came out to special meeting, she changed the seat and said, oh, Larry is now the president. So that was a strong political move. And then what happened, like I said, we are having a special election in November. So for 14, almost 12, 13, 14 weeks, 14 months, we have not had representation in Central Ward, which is the largest population of senior citizens. Also, it's the economic engine of the city of Newark. Then to Pansonic, everybody, City Hall, everybody is in Thoroughgood, everybody's in the Central Ward. We have no representative. But the main thing with who's most needy is the city. You know, because they have a problem, if an elevator ain't working or whatever ain't working, they gotta have somebody represent them. They have no representation.
Wow. So, okay. Would it be fair if I asked you who you support?
That is fair. Well, that would be my personality if I didn't tell you what I was going to do.
Well, you know, some people won't, you know, they want to, they don't want to, they don't want to come out and say who they support now, you know.
Let me tell you how I met Zach. He's interviewed me in 2014. And I was back in Ross, right?
Yes.
And then he interviewed me when Ross ran him against Gayle. And what happened was, I was against Gayle then, but I'm with her now. And let me tell you how long I know Gayle. I supported her in a special election that she won in 1995.
Wow.
And then I supported her in 1998, and I supported her in 2022, and I supported her in 2002, and I supported her in 06 when Cory Booker swept everybody.
Sure,
and then
sure.
when she came back in 2014, I supported her. So I was supporting Gayle. But in 2018, she ran for mayor, and I was, at the time, all in with Roz. And I vividly supported her then. I was a wildcat against her and everything like that. It was a nasty election. Don't think it was always nasty. It was nasty. You know, because I'm that's right. I'm a maverick, so I go, you know. But anyway, when Monica left, I was thinking, who could be the Central Ward council person? Somebody with some experience. Gayle got 15 years experience. So, for the betterment of this town and better Central Ward, we kissed and made up.
Okay.
You know, and we walking hand in hand right now in order for her to come back, because right now what's going on in the council, there's four Team Baracas and there's 4 Latins, but it's not really 4. The guy from East Ward's a Portuguese, so he's not a Latin, but they say that. And what's going on is the giving away of property, and we're getting that later. The giving away of property to the mayor's friends, his supporters, his vendors, the developers, the people that get tax abatements. Giving away that land has stopped, because now it's even. So if something is not good, it's not going anywhere. So they need a neutral person to stand aside that can go with the good and can go with the bad.
So Gayle would be that neutral person.
She is the most qualified person.
She would be that referee.
She's the most qualified person. But she's been there for 15 years. Only Quintana has been there longer than her. You know, she knows the ropes. That's the main thing. You got somebody go. You know, you bring somebody else in, like the dear sister I knew when she was in her mother's womb, Amina Bey. Because me and her mother and her father in the nation swarmed together. You know, and her father's a dear friend of mine. Her mother is like a big sister. And Amina Bey, who's really an AKA Team Baraka. So it's gonna go back to where giving away to the vendors, giving away to developers, giving away tax abatements, giving away is going to go back to it. And if you give me the opportunity, I'm going to explain to you what happened to Ras Baraka, why I supported Ras Baraka. I didn't support him because I knew him. I knew of him. He was a vice principal when I was in Weequahic High School, sending all their student athletes to college. I sent 6 football players out there, 4 basketball players out there while he was the vice principal there. And I knew him. Of course, I knew his father because I come up. And but I wasn't a fan of his father. I was not a fan. I was in the Nation of Islam under Elijah Muhammad.
Yes.
And remember, his father promoted Malcolm.
Yes.
And in Newark, we hated Malcolm.
See, now, I'm glad you, well, I'm not glad you said that,
Yeah.
but I'm glad you explained that.
That's right.
Because, now, let me say this.
Yeah.
I've said this to many people, and they get mad with me. I said, you know, coming up on Howard Street, 200 Howard Street,
Right.
I said, I really don't know much about Malcolm X.
Right.
So people jump on me and say, oh, what you mean you don't know nothing about? I said, because the Muslims that was selling the fish, that was giving us the bean pie,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
That if you even mentioned Malcolm, there was a no.
That's right.
So I tell people today, I said, I really don't know
That's right.
a whole lot about Malcolm.
That's right.
Because whenever we were all together, the Muslims would line us up, you know what I mean, make us do push-up, tell us that we're from the tribe of Shabbat.
That's right. That's right.
You know, and someone said, what about Malcolm? And they would shut it down. Shut it down.
In
like,
the Nation of Islam Elijah Muhammad,
okay.
we didn't say his name, we would say the hypocrite. That's how we said.
Well, I didn't want to say many names.
But that's what we called him. Well, when Elijah Muhammad died, and his son came in, Imam W.D. Muhammad,
Yes.
and took us to the Sunnah of practicing Islam. Him and Malcolm was friends.
Yes.
And he kind of rehabilitated Malcolm from the old Nation of Islam.
Yes.
Saying that the ideas was good. Sometimes you say things before your time.
Right.
But I'm old school, so you have to forgive me.
Okay, long
I love Osama Elijah Muhammad.
Yes.
That's what taught me, gave me courage and everything.
Yes.
So anybody that went against my father, I got a problem with.
Yes.
So so let me explain that. Imam Baraka was the one that pushed Malcolm and Newark. And it was a situation. One day I'll tell y'all a story about when they tried to name the school Malcolm X Shabbat, Southside.
Okay.
And the FOI went on a rage. And at the time I was in Weequahic High School in singing. And they called me. They had went on a rage down there. And the person that was changing it was somebody I grew up in the projects with. And I told him to back off. And that's how serious it was about.
Yes.
Just want to tell you that. I'm glad you experienced that, so you know what I'm talking about.
I didn't experience it firsthand.
So now I see Roz. At the time, I didn't know Mitty. I knew OB, the oldest one, and I knew Wanda Wilson. I used to date her.
Okay.
So 40-something years ago. That was the oldest sister.
Okay.
But I didn't know Raz. But I felt that I was not a fan of Cory Booker. I thought that he was a carpetbagger.
Okay.
But I think that he's a great senator. I just thought he was a carpetbagger because, see, you don't come from rich areas and move in the project.
Yes.
At one time,
That's right.
I used to live in Middle Township, which was very wealthy.
Yeah.
And my son grew up there. He would have never came back here and moved to the project. He would have moved to Society Hill. He might have moved to Society Hill 1180, but that's BS. You move in the brick towers. At the time, no elevator, on the 10th floor, and they ain't got no hot water forever. So I kind of like, but he's a senator now. I think that's better for him.
Yeah.
So I was, and then Shavard Jeffries jumped in.
Yes.
And I was like, wait a minute, he was from Newark, but nobody knows him. But he had the same, I think he was at Duke and Columbia, he had the same acting. He was good, but so I backed Roz.
Right.
And I made a deal with Roz. I think I told you before, we made a deal. I said, I gotta talk to you before I back you. I said, we gotta make a deal. He said, what's the deal? I said, the deal is I don't want nothing. I don't want no jobs. I don't want no nothing. All I want you to do is what's right for Newark.
That's right.
I want you to bring Newark back to the Newark that I knew as a young man.
Yes.
That was our agreement. And he looked at me strange. I said, I don't want nothing, brother. I don't want nothing. I don't want no jobs. And if anybody come and tell you I want something. So in the middle of that election, I was working with him so hard, everybody said, oh, if I leave down with him, he must gonna be deputy mayor, he gonna get something. So I had to go back to him and say, remember my deal? My deal is zero. So the moment he came in and won, I backed up. Basically I backed up on Facebook. And I was supporting him and everything. I was supporting him. I supported him in 2018. And something happened. I went into Newark Housing Authority, which I turned down 3 times because I never wanted to be within their crew. Because they had a thing where they used to do GEDs for people and they were failing. And some of the powers of the be came up to me and said, hey, we do better than send them to your school. It's less cheaper. Plus they get a high school diploma. I said, no, it'll benefit me, but I don't want anybody to think there's a pro quo, which means you do something for me, I do something back. All I want him to do is look. And then when I got in the housing authority, I started seeing a lot of problems. Now the housing authority is a federal agency. So I was like, why is these guys that I was thinking about that's for the people in 2014 changing? Yes. And I sat down and I realized what had happened. In 2014 when Roz won, he had his first mayor party, and it was down here on Avenue A. And I was seeing people, because you know, I was going to say, hey, I see you tonight, man. So they said, you ain't gonna see me tonight. People that work for him. So people that work for him, I said, no, because that's how they raise money. Because Sean James' tickets was $150, but everybody would be there at Sean's party. You know what I mean? From the maintenance man, security, everybody. And Sean would be in the middle, and it was $150, but that's how Sean raised his money. He would make $1 million. So Roz, you know, economics things went up, inflation, $300. And then when I went there, it was only developers and vendors and directors and lieutenants of police, you know. And I was like, wow, how are they gonna raise money? And what happened, there was an incident that when I fell out with Morocco, Mitty said to me, we can't make no money in this town. And I'm like, huh? We can't make no money in this town.
Well, let's get back to Gayle Chaneyfield.
We there. I'm just going. I was going to give you that. I was going to give you that stuff. I want to give you that because that's a whole nother story.
That's another story.
So the long short, it was that they had to start catering to the vendors and developers because they were the ones that supporting them.
Sure.
Because the masses were not supporting them financially like they did the great Sharp James.
So do you think that bringing, here's what I'm hearing, bringing the old guard back. I was at, we seen each other at the honor.
Thing. I didn't get a chance to talk to you, man.
Yeah. That Bullet, we call him Bullet.
Yeah, I know Bullet. We know Bullet. Come on,
Miles.
Prince Street, from Colorado.
Yeah, still right. Put together in honor of Sharp James.
Yeah, I heard that.
And Mary Jane was there also.
Right.
She was there. When Gayle got up, there was a feeling of Sharp James, a part of Sharp James.
Right. That is Sharp James' girl.
Yeah. You know, and I remember talking to Sharp and saying, you know, Sharp, when you go to different places, I can come in, I would like to come in. Now, you don't have to bring me in. You understand me? Just let me know, and in the lobby, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times Gayle was with us. So, at this point in time, where we at, how do you see them?
It's not, no. It's like people joke with me. Why don't you be mayor or councilman? I say I'm too old. Oh, you don't, like you said, you don't look that old. I said, but I feel.
we're not as old as we used to.
So what I'm saying is, no. I think that it's time a youth movement, but the state that the city is in right now, the state, you got to have a pro in there. You know, you can't just bring somebody in there that's apprentice or learning.
And you feel that Gayle would balance this thing out.
She would be the neutral point. Because some of the advocates that's against the man them, they be surprised when I'm at council meetings. Because sometimes I say, oh, this is a good deal. Oh, this is a bad deal. This is a good deal. So that's what Gayle would do. She would be the neutral. And you can't pull nothing over her eyes because she's been around 15 years. You know, 15 years. So you got to have somebody there that knows what to do. And that's very important.
True state.
Because it's downtown, just where we sitting at.
Yes.
Okay? This is, it's going to be 20,000 new residents down here in the next 5 years.
Yes, it is.
20,000. Condos over there. Condos over there. Condos over there. Condos here. Condos. I mean, not rental. All rental. I mean, 20,000 new, and it's going to be just like Jersey City. Where Jersey City came all the way back when they started building on the Newport. And you go to Jersey City, it's like another different town. And that's what's going to come in the Newport.
Okay, give your final thought for Gayle.
My thought thought is, let me just say this to you. She's one of us. You know, not that Amina is not that, who's other brother running? Who's other, somebody else?
Tillman or something like that.
Tillman, nice young man. He's in North. One of my neighbors, he lived in the building with me. And then there's another young man that's a bright young man that came out of dark.
Okay.
One day, yes, he's gonna be strong, but you gotta learn the ropes. You have to have somebody experienced in you, somebody you can trust. Gayle, in all her 15 years, we drop it on you, never had a corruption situation. Wow. Mildred did, and Mildred's a great woman. Mildred's great, but Mildred's chief of staff helped put away 5 mayors. Orange, Passaic, Patterson, she helped put all of them away on what he was trying to do. And that was right there in her office and other people. And I'm not going to go on other people's office, but I'm just telling you, Gayle is not known for corruption. Gayle is known for the people. And I've been walking with her for the last couple of months, and man, it's like a breath of fresh air. Wow. I'm not lying to you, man. Because generally, like I told you, when I used to run my campaigns with Roslyn, I was independent.
Yes,
Because you remember when you came down and covered the show I gave down there for free with 1,000 people down there. That was my money.
That's right.
What I
That's
did.
right. That's right.
I was nobody puppet. I said and did what I wanted. So a whole lot of times people say, Alif just say what he wanted. He said, yeah, because Alif spent his own money. Matter of fact, that's what the mayor said when he got there. He said, Alif paid for all this.
Yes.
When I did the whispers and stuff up there. You know, that was my money.
That's right.
Whatever. So what I'm saying, but I've been with Gayle, walking around and hanging around with her, and it is an emergency. Because if not, the existing administration will give, if they got 5 votes, they would give away this city. They would give it away. At the housing authority, I was able to stop some things. The little bricks where I come from, Phillips School, they was trying to get out of the way for $300,000. You can't get a house in Newark without a roof on it.
What?
300, they were trying to get a whole 300.
Get a whole block away?
The whole block. And then the guy wasn't going to give us all at one time. He's going to give us 100,000 when we do one bill, 100,000 we do another bill. He's going to give away. And I stopped it. And I got called down there and they said, Alif, why you stop that deal? I said, it's a bad deal. Why you stop it? But they said, wait a minute, the mayor's student is in there. I said, yeah, that's nice. He's in there. But it's a bad deal. And I'm not signing off of it. Right up the street here on Spruce Street and Muhammad Ali, they want to give a 100-unit building away for $1 million. We had it appraised, it was $3 million. So I said, we got to get $3 million. No, this is the mayor's, he worked with the mayor. It ain't about who worked for the mayor. It's about the people in Newark.
Yes. The home.
And Gayle is at the right age.
Yes.
She got the right temperament,
yes.
And she has the intellect. Because you can't just put anybody in that 5th seat. Because you do, believe me, they get this town away. And I'm telling you, you know, like, if I can say real quick, like tax abatements. In a tax abatement, when somebody gets something, there are rules that they have to follow. Affirmative action, which means if I'm building a building, 100 units, I got to have no people working there.
Yes.
They don't care. They just making a deal. Or they got to give 20% of the, if it's 100 units, 20% of the apartments got to be for affordable. They don't care. Because what they do, the builders do, they make the small apartment, like the brother I'm sitting here right now.
Yes.
He's a senior citizen. And we grew up together. I'm a little older. And he lived, his apartment is a brand new building, but he said, man, I ain't got a closet.
Right. Yeah.
But he did Army. He know how to, you know. Yeah. He said, I ain't got a closet. They cut back when it's good deals. They cut back on it.
And they're not supposed to do that.
No, they're supposed to.
The apartment's supposed to be the apartment, the same size.
They cut back on it. Every building you go into, you know what I mean. And then some of the buildings, like down there at One Park Place, the affordable apartments is where the mayor's family live at. His sister, his mother-in-law, his sister-in-law, his mother-in-law, and the 3 brothers. They live there. They got the affordable apartments. That's another story. All right. But I'm with Gayle. Please vote for her. She'll do a good job for you. I'm telling you, as the former commissioner of the Newark Housing Authority, and you know, they said it was never a commissioner like me, because I was about the residents and I was about to stab. Listen to me. I'm telling you that Gayle is the answer to the Central War. And as a 72-year-old, inshallah, CEO, I want Gayle to represent me. Gayle Chaneyfield.
Okay. You know, in history, when people have come through what we've come through as Black Americans, you look at the Black experience, we've traveled.
Right.
But at some point, there's a level of confusion that comes along with that. I'm reminded of the spacecraft Apollo 13 when it was stuck in space and the whole world was wondering how we gonna get the boys home.
Right.
And then the NASA come up with, let's use the lunar module to boost them up. The lunar module was not designed for that.
That's
It
right.
was designed to land on the moon.
Right.
It looked like a little roach or
That's right.
whatever.
I remember that.
And so after they powered down the spacecraft and gave the energy to the lunar module and powered it up,
yes,
they were able to push the boys up, push them up from the moon atmosphere so they can come back home.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Maybe this is what we need here today.
We have to.
And maybe that's what Gayle is. She's that lunar module that NASA talked about. That Grumman said, well, we made it, but that it wasn't designed that way. Well, it wasn't designed that way, but that's the job it did.
And before you cut off, her upbringing was no corporation or her father. A lot of people don't know it. All they know about is Lit. I'm not Lit, I forgot his name. I forgot that brand NCC. But her father, it was his idea.
And the babies in the
Babyland.
With your mother and
yeah,
aunt.
her mother's baby. That was her father's idea. Because I'm gonna tell you the story. He went to the Catholics, but he went to the Muslims first.
Okay.
At Mosque number 25, and they couldn't understand it. And he went to the Queen of Angels, to that piece, and man, they blew it up. So she know about low income, because the difference between low income and affordable income.
Yeah.
Because low income means that you don't make a zero, you still got an apartment.
That's right.
Affordable income means you make $40,000 and you get an apartment, and you might can pay $900 where everything is $3,000. But believe me, you got to have somebody to fight, especially in the Central Ward, because if it's 20,000 apartments come up, 15,000 is in the Central Ward.
Okay. Again, this is Zachariah Jackson, BASA News. Goodbye.